That's kind of the Portland thing, is a lot of collaborating, and art and creativity doesn't just mean what I do. It's food, and it's drinks, and it's music.
Hey all, Amanda here. Welcome to episode 81 of Great Beer Adventure. So I must let you all in on a little secret. 2017 is going to be a very big year for all of us. There are some amazing events and shows coming your way. I'm going to tell you so much more about them as we move through the year, but today I'm going to let you in on one little bit of fabulousness that is happening. Make sure to listen in all the way to the end for all of the details. I think you are really going to love it. For now, let's get right into our chat with Heidi Geist. Hey everybody, welcome to my kitchen. This is only the third episode that I have recorded in my house, only the second one at my kitchen table, ever in 80 episodes, I think. So this is quite amazing. I brought in a special guest today, Heidi Geist. Hi, Heidi.
Hey.
Welcome to my kitchen.
I love your kitchen.
Thanks.
It's cozy.
It is very cozy at the moment. We're about to undergo some big changes, and I feel like even though it'll get bigger, it might get more cozy. So that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, you're the second person on my table. The other one was my mom. We did a Mother's Day episode with my mom, and she sat at my kitchen table.
I feel special.
Yeah, and then I did a April Fool's episode down in the basement, which sounds creepy if you think about like being down in the basement, but I have a really nice basement.
It can still be creepy.
Yeah, I guess so. It's soft and cozier than the kitchen.
True.
So the April Fool's episode, we talked about non-alcoholic beers. I mean, what else would you talk about on an April Fool's beer show? Today we're not talking about any of those things, though.
That's good. I wouldn't have much to say.
No.
Right.
I can only say that I got carded.
On April Fool's in your basement?
No. Buying the non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I was like, they're like, can we see your ID? I was like, really?
What did you buy?
I think it was like a Coors non-alcoholic.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And?
I mean, it tasted exactly like you thought it would taste.
Did you finish it?
No. Mm-mm. There's a lot of drain pours.
Smart.
Yeah. Smart. So, and then I think I actually like re-gifted it to somebody that liked beers. And I was like, you like crappy beers? Here's one.
Did you like wrap the Coors Light box with packaging tape and
just like sent it on its way?
It's great.
Yeah. So, no, but today we're actually going to talk a little bit about what you do in the beer industry, which is very interesting. Before we get there, though, can you please tell my listeners a bit about yourself? You see, I used to do like these great intros that required a lot of Googling, and I have really bad Googling skills. So who better to tell us about you than you?
Googling does take a lot of skill.
It does.
Yeah, it takes a master Googler.
Yeah.
To come up with the right information.
Yeah, and I just can't do that. I mean, there's stuff I could tell people about you, but you might as well just do it yourself. Then the right stuff's getting out there.
What would people want to know?
Well, maybe a website, what you do, any of those things?
Right. I do a lot of art-related stuff. Pretty much anything I'm asked to do. Painting, weird projects that I say yes to.
What was one of the weirdest projects you've ever done? I know you've done some drum
yeah, I mean, I've done
stuff.
I've painted instruments. I don't know if that's really weird, though.
No, it's kind of cool.
It's different. And that's kind of what I'm always trying to find something outside of the normal realms of art, or the traditional, especially here in Portland, what you see hanging around for paintings and in galleries. And
so when you think about art, normally you think about, either an artist has drawn something on paper or painted something or done a sculpture, but there's some pretty normal mediums that are used.
There are, but it's a pretty wide, it kind of covers a lot of things and outside of painting and, other forms. But I guess one of the weirdest shows I ever did was a black light. It was a collaboration with some local musicians, and it was in a warehouse building. So we all dressed in Tyvek suits And a bunch of everything was blacklight. All the furniture was painted and sort of a sci-fi theme. So that was pretty great. Packed house for the whole night, and that was fun.
Yeah, it sounds
Warehouse
like
show.
Yeah, I've never been to one of these said warehouse shows. I don't know that they would necessarily be my thing, but I think that it would be amazing to look at and see, like, painted furniture that's all.
It's great.
Does stuff with.
It's great.
Blacklight.
People set their beers on it, but it's still, it's beer. So
right.
Maybe that's where the inspiration came from.
So a lot of what you do, though, is you don't use the typical medium. So, like, I've seen a lot of your blacklight stuff. I know that you work with automotive paint every once in a while. There seems to be a lot of those type of things that you do. You play around a lot with art, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to art school, and I'm for a reason. I mean, there's a lot of techniques that can definitely be taken from that and things that maybe otherwise somebody wouldn't know, but at the same time, you're kind of forced to experiment and be a little more free to do that. And, so sometimes when I'm painting, I'll throw down food, rub it in. I've used all kinds of weird stuff, leftover beer from the day before that I didn't finish. Pour that on, oils, olive oil, coconut oil.
Wow.
Usually on a wood surface, so it can absorb it, and it's kind of cool. It just creates texture, and who knows, sometimes it's a fail.
Yeah.
Sometimes not.
I don't know that I would have thought to just start throwing down olive oil and beer.
Sugar.
Cereal.
Really? Crushed crackers, whatever you find.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
If people want to see some of the art that you have done, where can they go?
Good question. Right now, I have in the world outside of the internets. It's a nice world outside of the internet. If you go check it out sometime, it's fun. Rum, Food and Grog in Portland has a lot of work of mine in there. Also, their bar top was painted to look like lava, so they have it lit from underneath, and I did all the paint on that, which...
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, unless you can go around the bar and look at closely, you can't really see the detail, but you can see the orange glow, and it's pretty cool. So there's someone you can actually go to. Other than that, Instagram, Facebook, the usual.
Okay, and where can they find you on Instagram?
It's DIE_Geist, GEIST.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've got that out of the way and we know all about you and the different things that you are up to, it may not sound, other than putting beer on wood, that you do a lot at first glance with beer. But that's actually the reason that we brought you here today, was to, I say we, I use like the royal we. It's me and my guests, me and my audience. We have brought you here. What we're going to talk about is all these different projects that you've actually done in the beer world. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the beer that we're drinking, because I love this beer.
It's delicious.
So we are both buddies of the gents over at Banded Horn. Back on Tim Bissell's episode, I believe it was episode 73, he actually talked to me about being a musician. And so I played a clip of the song that they do for this beer, The Jolly Woodsman. So if you haven't listened to that song yet, please go back and listen to it. It is phenomenal. But they actually have partnered up and done a collaboration with Speckled Axe, and this beer doesn't come out all that often. I think it's just during the winter.
It's two of the best things, espresso and beer.
Yeah.
And
it's only 7.5%, which is good. But I know they could, like, it's a decent percentage of alcohol.
Yeah, for, lunchtime beer.
Right. And that's exactly what we're doing now. So having some lunchtime beer. So it's up there for a lunchtime beer. But they also do one, I think it's just the Mountain or something. And that one is crazy high in percentage. So 7.5 seems like nothing.
Right now, this weekend.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. We are recording this in December, and they are having their 3rd anniversary. They are 3 years old. They're three-nagers.
So sweet.
So congratulations to them. And we are going to be drinking this lovely beer. It's dark. It smells like coffee.
It does.
Yeah. I mean, it's you could take this to anybody, and I don't think
It could be a breakfast beer for sure.
Oh, yes. No,
In fact, I think we waited too long.
yeah, we should have had this right when you showed up. But I think you could give this to anybody, but maybe a pregnant woman with smell aversions, and they would not be able to smell the beer in it. I don't get any beer whatsoever. But I also know that as a pregnant woman that has had smell aversions, I would have smelled only beer and nothing delicious in it.
Yeah, I wonder if in a blind taste test, if you would
I think taste
pick
test.
out more coffee than beer or not.
Yeah. I think if you went like coffee to coffee in a smell test, you would just think that they were the same. But taste test, you can definitely get an X or something. I think you would like this one better. You'd be like, whatever that coffee is, that's the one I want.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, it's beer. Oh, I don't
why I
like
feel
beer.
so good
No,
right
you're
now.
wrong. You love beer.
There's a gateway for everyone.
Exactly.
Just got to find it.
Yeah. And I think that too many people like see dark beers and they're like, I don't like
Yeah, I'm
that.
not friends with those people.
Yeah. They have to be a little more open because very possibly this could be a gateway beer for somebody.
Absolutely. It's easy.
Yeah, very easy drinking. Too bad you only brought one today.
Well,
We've got work to do.
everything within limit.
I know.
Darn it.
So I mentioned that we have work to do because we do, and we will be talking about that near the end of our second round. We're moving into our second round now, and we're going to be talking about beer and art. Because
Otherwise known as Bart
Bart.
or Beert.
Beert. Bart. Can you put art before the beer? I don't think that would work at all. Air? No. Nah.
The B is important. It looks
think
good.
Yeah. Have you seen the pictures of the beer where it's a bear with antlers?
I have. It's incredible.
I love that. I want to get one of those, but I want them to have glitter antlers.
What would that be?
It's just pretty. It would still be a beer, but it would be a gorgeous beer.
It would be a gorgeous beer.
Yeah. If I was to have antlers, I would want them to be shiny and glittery.
Like gold?
Yeah.
That's fancy.
Silver sometimes. Maybe if I could like interchange them. That would be my artistic. That's about as far as I can go.
I'll build you antlers if you want.
That would be awesome. I don't know when I'd wear them.
And
There's a
drink
great
beer.
Snapchat filter that I use,
Yeah.
and it gives me some antlers.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be your thing, though.
It could be.
Everyone would recognize you with your antlers.
Yeah. I am having some beer fairy wings made for me.
Yeah. I did see a guy in Portland the other day with devil horns, and he seemed, I think that's his thing. It's his regular thing.
Wow.
Maybe he was.
Maybe. Yeah.
I know.
Maybe.
Maybe he wasn't a guy at all.
Maybe he was not. Let's bring this together though and talk about what are some of these projects you've done, because here I always talk about in Portland, Maine, that there is this amazing, I don't know if synergy is the right word, but there's just this whole bringing together of beer and art and creativity and food, and it's just such a creative place to be. And you get pulled into this a number of different places throughout the local beer scene. Can you talk about a couple of the different projects that you've done so that my listeners will know kind of what I'm talking about? I can stop being as vague.
It's hard not to be vague. What I do is kind of covers a lot of areas, and there's not really a linear path that I'm on. But yeah, so that's kind of the Portland thing, is a lot of collaborating, and art and creativity doesn't just mean what I do. It's food, and it's drinks, and it's music. And so I've actually done a lot of work in all those scenes. And most recently, I've been working on labels for a couple breweries, Bissell Brothers, just getting ready to release their Angels with Filthy Souls, which is a favorite.
It's a good holiday beer.
It's exciting. Did that label and worked on Diavoletto for them, but other things, collaborations that don't involve me directly working with the beer company. We had a beer collaboration that I did with Austin Street back in June for an art opening I had at Rum. So that was fun. We got together and designed, it was a black IPA, which isn't always everyone's go-to beer, but it was delicious. They actually drew quite a crowd. That was pretty fun. I love those guys.
Yeah, Austin Street's lovely.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, they're really good guys. Yeah, so they did that collaboration with you, and they just recently came out with another collaboration that they did with
Hoof-Hearted.
Hoof-Hearted,
Yep.
yeah. And that is a hysterical can label.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah. If you haven't seen that, you can go back and look on Instagram anywhere, and you will find pictures of that label. There's a giant teddy bear with a man's head and a little tiny man clinging to it.
It's great. Their art's great.
Yeah, Hoof-Hearted.
There's a lot of beer collaborating too. I like that. A lot of breweries getting together, and in a way it's kind of cool because you think of it as a really competitive market, and it is, but at the same time they're really supportive of each other, and it's kind of a giant network of family in a way, and like an extended, so it's kind of cool to be part of that in whatever form I can be, being as that I'm a fan of beer.
Being a fan of beer is fun. So you've done 2 labels, you mentioned, for Bissell Brothers. Can you talk a little bit about what that process was like? How did you and Bissell Brothers start talking in the first place?
Right. So it was interesting. I've done really random jobs like that before for people, just mock-ups and some logos, but never a beer label. So it was definitely a new process, and Pete reached out to me last spring because he had seen some artwork that I had up on Instagram, and it was totally outside of what they had been doing for most of their cans. So it was kind of exciting to be asked to do that project. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty open. He had a vague idea of what he wanted and sort of left it in my hands to come up with some things, and luckily it worked out.
So what kind of things did he give you as an idea?
Right. So Diavoletto is basically translates to little devil. And he wanted to kind of take that in sort of an ironic or even sarcastic direction. It'd be a very literal, straightforward picture of a little devil. He wanted kind of the opposite, some sort of thing representing like this large, because Diavoletto is only, I think, 3%. Mm-hmm. So it's a super small ABV, but it's delicious and it's got a ton of flavor. And I think he wanted to sort of play on that. So I was supposed to create some sort of larger than life character to sort of sarcastically represent the little devil idea. And originally I was drawing pictures of large, sort of almost evil characters, which ended up totally being wiped off the slate, and what we had ended up with was just a really detailed pen and ink sketch that I guess was seen as like I don't even know. It wasn't even an idea that I had in mind going into. I didn't have an image I was trying to grasp necessarily. So ultimately, I think what it's supposed to be is like a giant parasite or virus in a way, in like a really weird geometric.
As you're saying that, and I think back to the label, which we'll have a picture up of on our show notes, but thinking back to that label, yeah, I can kind of see how you might think of it as a parasite, but very geometric. I think that's...
Yeah, so I think the angles and stuff in it are what captured his attention, because, it kind of gives the idea of something kind of dark or harsh, but not being literal and not being right in your face. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a great beer, and it was exciting to do, and I'm happy that I got asked to do another one. And
was he any clearer with the next set of directions?
He had a very specific idea for what he wanted to do with Angels with Filthy Souls, and which was great. We sat and went through all kinds of photos online and, talked for quite a while about what he wanted to do. And I think ultimately it ended up being pretty much that. And it's exciting to see the final result, which I haven't seen on the can yet, but shortly.
It's going to be kind of interesting to see your flat art taken and then wrapped. Does it change it that much?
It's actually pretty exciting because the process of making art, and it's like with anything, it's like music or, when you've been looking at it and working on it for so long, after a while you have a hard time seeing it or hearing it for what it is. And, sometimes you have to step away from it for a while. So when I hand something off like that, I often do it sort of totally unsure what to expect. And then to see the final result, he sent me the computer label. So what the label itself is going to look like, not wrapped on the can, and it looks incredible. I think it's going to be super sleek, and it's exciting to see your stuff in the hands of a million people who love the beer. And
yeah, people are going to wait in crazy lines.
Yeah, it's a
get
good
their
beer.
hands literally on your work.
Yeah, it's exciting.
At this point, it'll have already been done. But yeah, they're doing a big event around it, which is amazing. Speaking of events, you've actually also during Portland Beer Week, which we talk a lot about here on this show, you during Portland Beer Week did an event where you collaborated with Rum and with Smutty Nose.
Correct.
Can you talk a little bit about that event? Like, one, again, how did it get started? Two, what was the event actually like? And three, has it gone anywhere since then?
Yeah, that was really fun. So my friend Shane, who works for Smutty Nose, was doing an event for Beer Week in collaboration actually with Sheep and Wolves.
Correct. I forgot about adding them in.
Yep.
That's a DJ.
Gary Kim, who represents Sheep and Wolves, does also DJ, which is what he did there. So yes. And then Young Abner came out. He DJ'd. Yep. It was great. It was fun music. So it was actually multi-directional. It's a sort of pop-up, maybe I want to say catering, but more like pop-up dinners. And
oh, cool.
Yeah, I actually wish I knew a little bit more. I know he's a great cook, and that's sort of his his thing. But that wasn't really Rum did all the food that night. Right. So yeah, it was Rum, and it was them, and it was Smutty Nose on tap, and they asked me to do some live art. I think they got the idea from a music festival where they saw some people doing, which is I think a popular thing around here. Usually spray painting, which it's hard to do inside.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of fumes that would come from
fumes, that. People don't want it in their food.
Yeah.
But yeah, so also asked me to do it blacklight because that's sort of the thing, I guess, that I'm known for at this point. And so what I ended up doing is I kind of wanted it to be less me and more interactive with the audience, and which it was, and it was really fun. So I got a couple of large sheets of plexiglass, and I had a friend of mine actually build some frames for them so they could stand upright, and painted the back all in blacklight paint. And it's hard to describe these things with words. I have to direct people to my pages, but there was no specific design. I painted it just to look pretty, basically. And I have a couple of really powerful stage lighting black lights that I brought. And so I set these panels up, and they were 6 feet long by 4 feet high, so that people could
get them there.
Right. There was that process.
Because at the time you're living an hour away?
Yeah, up in Edgecombe. Yep, that was interesting. So I have a little Subaru Forester, and it being plexiglass is not something that was going to ride on my roof well, which is usually how I bring my paintings everywhere. So yeah, they went in my car, and I
didn't realize cars were big enough to fit.
I had to move
4x6
my seat all the way to the front. So I was pressed up against the steering wheel for an hour in my car on the interstate. That was fun.
Nice.
So yeah. So anyway, it was great though, because, I had a bunch of paint markers, and people came out and they were able to draw. What's cool about the plexiglass is that it was 1/2 inch thick. So it was on one side painted, and on the other side people could draw. So it created sort of a layered look, which was really fun. And, there were some inappropriate images, but...
Yeah, when I got there, so I got there pretty early. My husband and I actually had a childless night that night. It was weird. Rare, yeah. So as a parent of young children, you have like this strange pull in two very different directions when you don't have kids. One is to go out and be part of things. And the other is to go to sleep.
Right. Take advantage.
Exactly. And so for us, we did go out, it's Portland Beer Week. There's a lot of things going on.
Much appreciated.
And we did come out. We came and saw you. Yes, it was a lot of fun. And there, you had a note, we noticed, that said no inappropriate things. And
specifically genitalia.
Yes, specifically genitalia. And I made somebody upset because you told me to brand it with my stuff, and I did. And then somebody else is like, why did they put their logo up there?
What?
Yeah, somebody said that to me.
That's ridiculous.
And I was like, because the artist told me to.
Hey.
Boom, take that.
Some of the things that were on there were, it was fun. There was a lot of great stuff.
By the time I left, there was a face that looked like it could be interpreted as genitalia.
It was.
Yeah. And then, but that was it.
I like that. So I kind of got it started by just drawing some weird lines. I don't even know. But people kind of took other people's art and ran with it and added to it. And it was actually really cool to see people not just get up there and do it, but they thought it was fun and they were having a great time doing it. And, you know, the fact that everyone was sort of adding to, you know, create this ultimate masterpiece, which is what it was. It was, you know, it was a giant collaboration. So.
A huge. Yeah. Not only was it Sheep and Wolf, is that the right name?
Sheep and Wolves, yep.
Yeah, Sheep and Wolves, Smutty Nose, Rum, Heidi Geist. It was also everybody else that came and wrote on it as well.
It was.
Do those have a home now?
They're staying at Rum.
Oh, wow.
So I think that they want to wipe off the genitalia and they will hang on the back walls on the, you know, I've sold a lot of art from there. So there are some bare spaces now. And so, yeah, we're looking for some black lights to put behind them.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, if you live around here and you want to head in there and check it out.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that does sound cool. I didn't know that they were doing that with the.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that they probably need to clean them up a little bit because it was the end of beer week. People. It was
a very late, long night.
Yeah,
there was some drinking.
Yeah,
oddly enough.
Weird. Yeah. Smutty Nose.
I know.
Bar. Weird.
I know.
So we're actually starting to collaborate now too.
Yes, we are.
And I had this idea that I wanted to make a coloring book, an activity book, and this strange mixture of all these different things that I had seen all around beer. And I had actually started like going through Fiverr and trying to figure out things like who could I like get. And I actually had somebody show me their art because they had done a coloring book before. And I was like, that's not what I see in my brain. I'm like, how am I going to find somebody? And I'm scrolling through my Facebook. Because do you ever find that you just randomly scroll when you're trying to think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, stimulate the old brain.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I cannot draw for the life of me. I could do a lot of things. That's not one of them. And there was your art. And I was like, how did I not think about this before? So I reached out.
'Cause you weren't scrolling.
I wasn't scrolling. So Facebook actually does good things. It's not just a time suck.
Hey, that's great. I'm going to start scrolling every time I'm stuck. That's great.
Yeah.
You should teach that to college students.
Yeah. I think
Before a test, if you go blank,
yeah,
take a scroll.
Yeah. That's probably good. They probably already do that.
They do.
Yeah.
Probably during.
Like, I don't know the answer. Does anybody on Facebook know? So currently we are working on, I say currently because I'm talking December, but when this comes out in January, you'll be able to actually purchase a nice little PDF downloadable activity book, coloring book.
For adults.
For adults, yeah. Beer adventure book.
I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
I can't wait to color it.
Yeah. It's really just going to be Heidi and I downloading it. You can go to the website for a link to where you can get your own. You can purchase your own edition of this. But yeah, I'm really excited about it because I want to take all of these amazing beer things and I want to make them fun. And beer is fun, but I want to make them like interactive and fun and pretty.
The beer is becoming an event. It's not even just a drink anymore. It's like it's changing. It's definitely evolved into this thing where A, people that weren't beer drinkers before getting into it, and B, it's just like bringing people together. And, you know, a lot of these local breweries have games you can play and you can hang out and, you know, kind of make a few hours out of it and just have fun. So like this is just a whole new element to sort of almost add to that and bring people in a different direction who are, you know, into beer and have an appreciation for.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Definitely please check out. We will have a free coloring page, but we also will have a nice little PDF that you can purchase that'll have some coloring pages and some activity pages in it. And we are actually, this is just the start because we're going to put together a full on activity coloring book, like
in the flesh,
in the flesh of trees.
You can touch it.
Yes.
You can move it.
Yes.
You can flip through it.
Right. And you can stick things to it and you can like take it with you.
You can spill beer on it and then color around the beer spill.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Who hasn't done that?
Right. So there's going to be this whole cool thing in the coming year. So make sure that you are paying attention for that as well. I'm really excited. I mean, you were asking me like, who is this coloring book for? And I don't want to say that men are not welcome, but I added the word that I want it to be for women. And you're like, really? I didn't expect that. I'm like, yeah, because I want it to be pretty. Like, I want it to be beer and fun and pretty.
Right. And all the art I do is really pretty.
Some of it is. Some of it is. It scares me a bit, but it's.
We'll keep it safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
No, it is exciting. That's part of the idea. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't like saying that women are just now getting into beer, or it's like suddenly okay because I don't know if that's even true. Maybe it is. But to have something that maybe is a little bit more along the lines of, yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely something everyone's into, but definitely maybe reaching that crowd a little bit more.
Well, yeah, and I think that, I don't know, as a girl that likes beer, well, I guess if I'm going to get technical, as a woman that likes beer, you know, I like beer of all different kinds. I can see the beauty. I mean, the Jolly Woodsman, this is not quote unquote a pretty girly can, but there's beauty in it, and I can see that. And so I like things that are done in that kind of manner that is just beautiful, but I want it to be a little bit more girly because I like being girly every now and then. And I think that that's part of what's going to be in this book, is that it's not going to like be all pink and glitter and tutus. It's going to be more flowy and feminine in places.
Yeah, flowy.
Yeah. I think there's a
curves.
difference. Curves.
We'll put curves in there.
Yeah. Yeah. A few ladylike curves. Right?
Yeah. Everyone loves some curves.
So yeah, that's going to be really awesome. We have some really cool plans. We can't share them all with you now, but definitely go and at least get our free download. All you have to do is give us your email address, and we will let you know all of the awesome things that will be coming your way in terms of Great Beer Adventure and in terms of the coloring books. Notice I put an S there, that are heading your way as well. Right. If you have any questions on this, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram.
Or in real life.
Or real life.
Don't be creepy.
No.
Never be creepy.
Never be creepy. Yeah. Maybe reach out on the internet.
On the internet, not in real life. That's creepy too.
Yeah.
You don't want someone reaching out to you.
Let's move on to round 3, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay. Round 3 is talking about you and your first beer memory.
Oh boy. That's a long time ago,
yeah.
I think. Actually, all I remember, I think I drank awful malt beverages, flavored and colored artificially. My first beer memory was probably having been from out west and not in a spot where there's a lot of, granted, it was a while ago, good craft brews. Was probably drinking a lot of Corona.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Corona was big out west?
Really a big beer person, though, when I was younger.
Yeah.
Not really, actually, until I moved to Maine.
What was your first Maine beer memory?
Definitely Allagash White when I was visiting, probably 12 years ago. Visiting with family and popped into Empire. And
Empire was a lot different down there.
Yeah, it was a lot different. Yep. And my cousins were up, and they're from up here, so that was their beer of choice back then, and I thought it was great. It is great.
Yeah.
Of course, it's Allagash.
Yeah.
But
very serious question. Do you fruit your Allagash?
No.
No. See,
I actually haven't had an Allagash White in a really long time.
Every once in a while in the summer I'll have one.
Yeah.
They have so many other beers, though, that are...
They do have some great beers.
Yeah.
I started drinking my dark beers early this year. I think I started it in July or August.
Wow.
Yeah. I moved on quickly.
You're like, I'm done with this summer. Let's get the dark stuff rolling.
I don't really have a style that I despise. Just bad beer. It's not good.
I can tell you 2 types of beers that I'm really not a big fan of. I'm open to try every new one that comes my way, but I've yet to find a beer that is a smoky beer. Like, if it tastes like I'm drinking bacon, there's a problem with that. I like to chew on my bacon, not sip it.
I love smoky beer.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I love peat.
Yeah. Isn't that in one of the, is that in whiskey? No?
No, that's a Scotch thing.
Scotch.
But so I had a peated stout.
Wow.
Keys. I can't remember the brewery. I think Keys. I can't remember if they were Swedish or probably. I'll just say that. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Really?
Super peaty and smoky. Love it.
Ugh, can't do it.
Turns a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just leaves more for people that do like it.
I'm not a fan of beers that are flavored artificially with things.
Yeah.
I feel like flavor should be subtle. If it's a fruit or whatever, it should be well incorporated and not something that tastes overwhelming or fake, obviously. But
yeah.
Other than that, I don't know.
Anything that has an actual spice. Not coriander, which is a spice that has a flavor in it, but habanero. See, that one I can't do either. If it leaves my tongue pained, I don't like that.
Yeah, I agree. I love it, but I have found very few beers where, again, that's not the ultimate thing going on. I've been disappointed by some that were only spicy and no flavor when, there's a few. I have a friend actually that home brews that did a really great, I think it was habanero infused tequila that he actually added to his beer.
Oh, wow.
You didn't really taste the tequila so much. It was just kind of there in the background, but that was great. And it wasn't too spicy, but you definitely got a little bit of the heat.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that one. I'll try it. I'll try any of them. If somebody's like, no, try this. Okay, I'll give it a try. But most of the time I'm like, yeah, no. I tried it and now I am done.
Margaritaville.
Yeah. There was actually on an episode that we did, I talked to Sam. He's a Cicerone. We talked, and the beer that I had, I don't think is what it was labeled, because the beer that I had was from Orono, and they have one that is a spiced beer, Kilowatt, I think, and it's supposed to have some peppers in it. And that is not what I was drinking.
What were you drinking?
I have no idea, but it was not that. When I found out that was supposed to be have peppers in it, I was like, nope, I don't know what I had, but it was not anything like that.
I feel like I've definitely had beer that was mislabeled before. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's, I wasn't upset with the beer. I probably enjoyed it a lot more than I would have if I like a lot of things that Orono does, but I have yet to find a beer with peppers in it that I actually am like, ooh, I would drink a whole pint of this.
That's why you never stop trying.
Right. But so I was probably lucky that I got the wrong beer, because I probably would have had a few sips and just been all done. But
how do you feel about spices?
What kind of spices?
Well, you said spiced beer and you mentioned coriander, a lot of the Christmas beers with clove.
I think that if it's done correctly, it's good. I gotta say that I'm a nostalgic person. And so we talked about gateway beers earlier. Pumpkinhead is my gateway beer. And it's too sweet for my palate now. But because I am so nostalgic, I will buy myself a bottle of Pumpkinhead and I will mix it with a dark stout so that I get some of those flavors, but they're not as strong.
Right.
I still want the memories. I still want the memories, and I actually do like the pumpkin flavor. I love pumpkin cheesecake and pumpkin fudge and pumpkin. I'm not quite that. It's just now everything's too sweet for me. My palate has changed so much.
Did you ever have the collaboration, the Owl and Whale, and these guys did that? Nordry was one of them.
No, but I've heard of it, and I never actually got my hands on it.
Oh, that's really sad. Yeah, Banded Horn they were going to put 4 out, and they ended up just putting out Nordry and Ostry. And Nordry was incredible, but it had bitters instead of traditional spices, which so hard to sell. A lot of people hear that and they're turned off by it, but it was a really, really great beer.
Yeah, we have you been into Venus Fizz House?
I have. Yep.
Yeah, they do some really good beer cocktails. We actually talked to them back on Father's Day, and he said a good beer cocktail is all about the bitters.
Yeah.
So that would be something that I'd be interested in tasting, people just putting.
Well, that's the thing. The bitters have an automatic I don't want to say sweet, but the kind of the idea of that more rounded thing going on. So I feel like it infuses better into the beer than just adding clove or cinnamon, which I love, or whatever. I mean, it, is sort of the glue that binds everything together, all the different flavors. And
yeah, that makes sense. Especially after listening to the owner there of Venus Fizz House,
right?
What he was talking about with the bitters. So that all really makes sense to me.
Well, there's a lot of local places that make them too, so you're getting like good, quality stuff. But
I'm not afraid of nutmeg and cinnamon and anise. They go really well with lemon and honey and hot water and whiskey.
That's true. That they do.
I've been
in the hot bath.
Yeah, I've been doing some delicious hot toddies.
I love me a hot toddy. A little ginger liqueur.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'll have to try
just
that.
A little. Not too sweet.
No.
Cinnamon stick.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that I was into them, but I totally am.
And then winter came.
And then I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll try the ginger liqueur. Definitely. Okay. Round 4. So I have a stack of cards here, and on these cards are random questions. Now, we have asked most of these questions. I really think all but one. There's only one in here that have not been asked. But it's taken us enough time that I think we can go back through. Now, I'm going to say that if I get one that I've already answered, I'll pass on it, just because you can go back and hear my answer, and that would just be like boring audio. But you've answered none of these questions, so tough luck for you.
I'm scared.
All right. So you pick a card first. All right.
Yep, I got 2.
Go for it. See if
I'm asking you?
Yep, you ask me.
All right. If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
All right, we're actually safe. I haven't answered this one. One of our past guests did. This is so hard. I think I would have to put a bunch of different components together. I love pad thai. Oh, no. I'm going to scratch pad thai and I'm going to put pho into it. I love pho. But I want pho, which is a soup with this amazing, delicious noodles. And normally there's some pretty rare, if not raw, beef or something that goes in it as well. But I'm going to top it with a lobster because I couldn't not have lobster.
That's incredible. Like a whole lobster?
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. If I can, I'm going to do a giant bowl.
Just over the top of the bowl.
Yeah, just hanging on to it.
Okay.
So
for dear life. Yeah.
So yeah. So pho with all the accoutrements that come with it. There's different herbs and hot sauce and, I think soy sauce. Maybe it's a different kind of sauce. I don't know. But I want all the sauces. I want the big bowl of pho. And I want my lobster hanging on top. And then, I need beer to go with that.
Yeah, does the meal include an appetizer and dessert? Do you have
or
is it just the main course?
I don't know. What would I do I think I'd have to do, if I was going to do some kind of appetizer, it'd have to be something with prosciutto.
Okay. Naturally.
Who wouldn't want that? Cheese, some local cheese and prosciutto, or some kind of delicious ham product.
American cheese.
Nope.
Unwrapped.
No, it has to be good. I like stinky soft cheese. Yeah. Some harder cheeses are all right as well, but give me a good stinky soft cheese and some prosciutto, or I'll be all set. That'll be a good appetizer. Maybe throw in some vegetables with it, right? Maybe some nice asparagus, right?
Yeah.
And you can wrap it all up.
Yeah.
And then for dessert, I would go with, I don't know. Ice cream's pretty good, but chocolate cake with peanut butter is pretty good. I don't know. I'll have to come back to you on that one. Yeah. Okay.
That's great.
All right. Now, I'm going to pick one of these cards for you. Okay?
All right. I think I have the butterflies.
All right. Let's see. Here we go. What is your favorite season and why?
Oh, my God. I thought you were going to say favorite color. Gosh, dang it. Oh, clearly would be fall if it was a Maine fall that lasted more than 2 weeks. Otherwise, I'd say summer.
You were over summer, though, already in August.
Oh, beer. Oh, I love the heat. I'm from the West. I grew up in the desert. I love the good hot sun. Dry heat, of course.
So, but definitely if you thought about it, it would be like the perfect Maine fall day.
Yeah.
But like in the actual season.
Yeah, if it lasted more than, it ends too quickly.
It does.
It's depressing.
Yeah.
And you can't enjoy it because you know what's going to come after. So if we could just stretch it out,
Yeah.
it's refreshing. And
I feel like we kind of got cheated out of fall this year.
we did get cheated. That's
Right?
very sad.
Like it was, all of a sudden it went from like summer to early winter. It got cold.
If fall days could happen on the weekend and not just when you're at work during the week, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I would like to see winter happen. I really like snow, but I want it to snow like nonstop for like 2 days. Like just, you can't leave your house. It's horrible.
Blizzard.
Yeah. When
Over
it's
the
time,
windows.
yeah, you have to like shovel yourself out. But then it's like spring,
Yes.
like
Perfect.
warm spring.
Yeah, a 2-day winter.
Yeah.
What more could you ask for?
You don't want it to be too warm. Like it can kind of like get warm slowly, but it has to be like sunny and feel warm.
And you don't slip on the ice every time you go out for a walk.
Right. And you don't want it to melt too fast so there'll be flooding.
True.
But you know how like
mud.
Yeah. You know how like some 39 to 45 degree days feel really warm because it's just sunny, but it's not really warm. That would be a nice slow melt. Like I could go into a spring like that.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a great thought. I could do without the snow, but the 2-day winters. Yeah, take it.
Yeah. Everybody like it happens on a weekend. So like everybody just like stays at home. Nobody's on the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Fireplace. Everyone has a fireplace and hot toddies.
That's a bonus.
Kids are sleeping.
Again, no, they can't sleep the whole time. You got to go out sledding.
Right. Yeah. How do you get out? You have to
play
build like a tunnel.
You play board games for the 2 days. They sleep a lot. You play board games. You sing,
Eat a lot.
You eat a lot. Yeah, you have to
Cheese
go
and crackers and prosciutto.
Yeah, you have to go grocery shopping for like
First.
Right. But you know that winter's coming.
You know what day? Like it's already it's on the same day every year. So you're
It's the same weekend every year. Like it's the second weekend of December.
Oh my God. This is such a great idea.
I know.
So you could totally prepare for it.
Right.
So it'd be fun because you would know. You'd have everything set up.
Yeah.
You would have your shovel and your car scraper. You'd have the car scraper in your car instead of in the garage so that when you need it, it's there.
Right.
I mean, genius. I love it.
And you keep your shovel inside, otherwise you wouldn't be able to find it.
Right. Not in your car.
Right. Or underneath the
House.
your shrub or house or who knows where because you lost it and now it's like where is it and you can't find it.
Well, yeah, people shovel their roof, but if you leave it up there because you have to run in and answer the phone and then the next year you wonder where it is. And
and your neighbor knows because they can see it and they're like, why haven't they taken the shovel off?
They just think you're lazy white trash.
A little bit, yeah.
It's true.
All right.
It's good times.
Are we done playing God for today? All right, now we're going to go play art.
Art's great. Can't wait.
All right, let's do this. Thank you so much for sitting down, sharing this beer with me, talking about nonsense beer and art. It's been lovely.
It has been lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're beautiful.
Oh, you too. Cheers to you.
Clank. Oh, yeah. And thank you, Banded Horn.
Yes, to Banded
love
Horn.
your beer.
Happy Three-Nature. You are the first to know. We are making an adult beer-themed activity book. Super exciting news. If you want to claim your free coloring page and get more info on where you can buy our mini edition, text GBA to 31996. I'll shoot you a text with a link that'll take you right over to our page. Again, text GBA to 31996. That's GBA to 31996. Or you can also head over to our show notes at greatbeeradventure.com/081 to find all kinds of fabulous details on the activity book and links to Heidi and all of her work as well. Yay! If you all, our fabulous co-adventurers, would like to support the show, check out our Patreon page. For less than the cost of a beer, you can show us some love. Go to greatbeeradventure.com/support. If you want to see even more from our adventures, follow us on Instagram at Great Beer Adventure. And be sure to subscribe to the show. That way, you won't miss a thing. Great Beer Adventure is part of the Great Pint Society. Cheers.